So, hey, let's talk about why you came out a little
So
bit.
I came out because I felt like the industry needed a product. Basically, there's a lot of botch procedures going around. A lot of people, when you get into this industry, you mess up. You have to go through a certain stage where you're messing people up, or maybe even veterans that do SMP, they might, every dot has to look the same,
Right.
like in this area it has to look the same as this area has to look the same as this, or maybe you went over a little bit. So I wanted to come out with a product that, basically help push a product that could help everybody in the SMP world,
Mm-hmm.
And who else to talk to than the queen.
So your product is a saline removal product.
Yep, blends out.
Yeah, blends out. So you hit me up, and
Or
we.
should I say king? Because in that industry, you are the top.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. So you did you reached out, and so we got to work on. I called my chemist and my peeps over at LI and told them what we wanted for the scalp, and there was really no one better than the people at LI Pigments to make it. I mean, because they're chemists, biologists. I mean, they understand the different areas of the skin and the layers of the skin, the vascular system of the different areas. So they made you a saline removal solution specifically formulated for the scalp.
Scalps, yeah.
Yeah. And we've been testing that for a long time. We just did a removal.
Correct.
Yep. A little bit ago. And so I'm super stoked. So that's why I got into removal a long time ago, Chris. Been doing it about 16 years, is because, when you see this, I think when you do work so beautifully and so eloquently, like you do beautiful scalp work, I think I do really beautiful, PMU. And when you see work that's subpar and it's hurting that person, it's causing them to have low self-esteem or depression, sometimes worse. I mean, it can really affect somebody when they're walking around with bad work. And once you get your first case under your belt, once you do a removal and a correction, and you change that person, it's addictive. You want to do it again and again and again and again. And saline removal is not the easiest thing. It's not like instant gratification. When you're tattooing your dots in the skin, you see them immediately. You can tell, oh, it's going to look great. When you're doing removal, it's not instant gratification. Not everybody is cut out to do removal because it can be a process and it can be a journey, But I think you're the right guy to elevate the SMP world with your new saline solution and get the right education out there to all the SMP artists that want to learn the right techniques, the most efficient and safest techniques to remove botched scalp work. I think you're the perfect guy to do it because of your passion and your ethics.
Yep. And the love I have for the industry.
Yeah.
I feel like this product, everybody is going to be able to use. People who have been doing in the industry for 10 years, especially people who have been in the industry for 10 years, because the work back then is totally different from the work it is today.
Right.
But even today, sometimes I might have a big dot, and so this product is just going to help make their SMP look that much more beautiful and perfect.
Yeah. So every now and then you can even end up in your own work with like a dot that's too big.
Of course.
So how does that happen? Is it just a little bit too much pressure, which we all can do, even in like, when I'm tattooing eyebrows or eyeliner. I think most of the time we're pretty consistent because we've been doing it a long time.
Like
but
a machine, but sometimes we're not a machine.
Can it be just the hair follicle itself, like maybe a deeper hair? Can it just be like your needle hits their hair follicle just right, and it
I feel like sometimes
blurs
you
a
might
little
just,
bit.
you know, with me, it's about an even consistency. But sometimes with doing this motion a lot, you might just go a little bit too deep,
Yeah.
you know. So I feel like it's something even veterans, people who've been in the industry a long time, can use.
Yeah.
Especially the newer artists, because when you get into this industry and you're doing heads, you know, when you first start out, you're gonna mess people up. I mean, in anything you do, you gotta
Absolutely.
crawl before you can walk.
Yeah.
So this is just gonna be able to help artists so that if they do mess up, they're able to fix it. You know, so there's no other product that is out there just for scalps.
No.
You know, so this is the only product for that, and I feel like everybody in the SMP industry is gonna use it, gonna love it, and this is just gonna take off.
Yeah, I think so too. You know, people know me for lift. And so one of the questions that I might get, you know, I'm not really like, you know, involved, you know, this is your baby. We're just collabing on some things. But one question you may get a lot when people discover you collabed with me is, well, isn't that just lift? Did you just private label, you know, white label lift? And it is not lift. It has different salts. It has a higher salt content.
Right.
And it has completely different ingredients than Lift does. It's a completely different product. And I really relied on the chemist over at LI to help me with you know, the ingredients and the salt content, because we're working on the scalp, you know, which is different. You know, it's a unique area of skin, unique area of the body. So yeah, it's not lift. So you can, you know, confidently, you know, tell them that it's a very different product. And so I'm really, really excited for you. And you're going to be launching an online training course, right? Which is smart, but and I think responsible. I mean, if you're going to, you know, put out a product like this, then I think it's important to put out the training to go along with the product, because, you know, a lot can go wrong with saline removal. There's do's and don'ts.
I wish, honestly, this was out when I got into the industry.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. You know, saline, I mean, I think it was maybe, I mean, when I started doing saline like 16, 17 years ago, Chris, there were no products. I mean, we used to use regular like salt. I used to go to McDonald's, man, and buy and get the little, like, I would like, you know,
oh wow,
take packets of salt. Yeah, steal. I don't want to say steal, borrow.
Right.
Packages of salt, because it was like super fine and small, and then I would like muddle it up with, you know, some saline, and I could get it to really be, you know, super liquid, and it would implant good. And of course that's, you know, I mean, when you know better, you do better. Of course, you don't want to be using table salt and salt from, you know, fast food restaurants. The salt that, you know, we use, it's cleaned, like it goes through like 3 different processes to be like super clean. So yeah, I think SMP artists, it's going to put, well, I think a few things. It's going to allow them to feel that joy of helping somebody that's distressed over some botched, you know, scalp work. It's a service that they can offer that adds, you know, another stream of revenue, which is not the most important thing, but some people do take that into consideration. And
a lot of clients, they don't want laser, you know.
No.
So they do not want to go through that laser. So this is another option that they can do.
Yeah.
And it's going to be much better for them.
You know,
and to get the results that they want.
Absolutely. And, you know, Chris, to be honest with you, you know, saline can be quicker and more efficient than laser in some cases. In some cases, not.
Right.
But when you're like, if you have a client and they need removal and they've got living hair, you don't really want to take laser to that. I mean, the laser can kill, you know,
the cells,
the cells, and, you know, they might lose, you know, some of their existing hair. So, I mean, that can certainly happen. But, and then I think, you know, for me, doing removal all these years, it's, you know, it's it's not creative. You're using your aesthetic eye. You're not like mixing pigments and drawing design. It's not that. It's a little bit more methodical, mechanical. You're following the do's and don'ts. But I don't know. I think I built a bigger clientele because of all the removals I've done. Because once you do a successful removal on somebody, like they're super grateful. They're thankful to you, and then they become a client, for life.
Right.
So I'm stoked. So are you gonna go home and you're gonna do removals?
Of course, or I'm at least gonna train somebody so they can do that at my office.
How do you think? Couple more questions. How do you think? Because when you're doing scalp work, you're using small needles. Are you mostly using like 3 tights, or do you use singles at all, or?
So I use nothing but 3RLs.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's a better retention, not so much pain.
Right.
And I like the way my work comes out better.
Yeah.
I used to use 1RLs, but it makes the scalp bleed more, and the retention isn't as good.
Yeah.
So I use 3RLs. I use 4 main sizes: 04, 06, 08s, and 10s.
Wow. So 04, that is like super small.
Micro.
Yeah, that's like micro. Yeah. Wow. So to get to my question is, so scalp artists are used to really small liners.
Correct.
And one movement, that pointillism movement. So when it comes to removal, they're going to have to learn like a different set of skills. They're going to have to learn
the circles.
Yeah, like we did today. Because today we did a removal on a scalp where all the dots just blurred together.
Correct.
There wasn't like single dots.
A lot was
spaced.
wrong. The hairline placement was wrong. The color of the inks, the needles used, the blending. The gentleman, he actually had long hair, so he didn't want to cut it when the procedure was getting done. So basically, the artist literally went in there and just blacked everything out.
So he allowed the client to keep the hair.
Yeah. And this gentleman does not want laser. He said no laser. It's not even a question. Once I told him about this product that we're coming out with, I mean, he was just, he was all for it. I mean, he literally flew 6.5 hours all the way to Las Vegas to get it done.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
He was it was like super cool today. Yeah. So the course so your online course is going to teach them all about the product. We filmed a removal today, and we're going to have latex tutorials on there showing how to do circular movements with larger needles.
Right.
Not that they won't use 3RLs and do pointillism in some cases for removal, but
there's nothing out there in the SMP industry like this.
Yeah.
And I'm blessed that I was able to team up with you, somebody who has the most experience for saline removal. So it's not your regular class. It's something that has years and years of experience going into this.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah,
it does. And it's got you behind it too. So I'm excited. I think one thing that the users are going to like a lot is just it's simplistic. It's a bottle of really kick-ass saline removal solution, right? Made in a great that works, safe and super effective, with really solid techniques. We're super transparent. It's not like you have to buy 2 or 3 different like products or use a special machine, and there's kind of like this secrecy and this, we can't tell you this because it's patent. It's none of that. It's really simplistic and straightforward. A good bottle of saline, take your course, learn a good solid set of skills.
Use the something you will be able to use.
Yeah, use the machine that you're already using, and you're on your way.
Yep.
So, people like that. They like straightforward.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think we're done. How was that?
Huh? I'm glad to be here. I'm blessed to be here with you. Thank you.
So it wasn't that bad, right? You were a little nervous coming on. You're turning red, Chris. You're turning a little red. So hey, I always close with like a positive quote. It's super cool that you're a law of attraction guy. I really like that a lot. Yeah, that's cool. We have some things in common. So I always usually close with like a positive quote. So do you want to Do you have a quote or a positive saying that you want to close out with?
Yeah, I got one.
Yeah.
So what I tell everybody is I believe in the law of attraction. When you do good, good things happen. When you do bad, bad things happen. And also when you're positive, positive things happen. And when you're negative, negative things happen. And we have a choice every day that we wake up how our day is going to go.
Yeah, that's true. And it's work.
Yeah.
Don't you find some days to stay positive?
Of course, yeah.
I started doing this 5-second thing. Have you heard of the 5-second thing?
No.
Have you heard of that, Olivia?
No.
So it's like, so I heard people talking about it. So I Googled it. And it's like you get in the mirror just for 5 seconds and you say two or three really positive things
About yourself?
about yourself.
I do that every
in
morning.
I've never done that before. So it sounded a little dorky to me at first, but I've been doing it like a couple weeks now. Yeah, I will admit I'm in the mirror a little longer than 5 seconds. I've got some good things to say to myself,
Right,
Chris.
that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, on days you wake up, some days you wake up, man, things feel heavy, right? You know, I deal with some anxiety and depression, so some days you wake up and just shit feels heavy.
Right. It's
So
just not your day.
It's just not your day. Those are the days that I find myself in the mirror a little bit longer than 5 seconds, just saying some positive things like, you know, you got this, Taryn, and just saying some things. And I have been finding it really super helpful. So yeah, the 5-second thing.
I'll give
Everybody
it a
should-
try. I'll
Yeah.
give it a try. I do it in the mornings, but I'm going to try it throughout the day as well.
All right. Yeah. Right. Okay. Cool. Well, thank you for
Thank you. Thank
coming
you,
out
Sarah.
and hanging out.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you
Cool.
for
You
everything.
got it. All right, everybody. Thank you for hanging out with us today. That was Chris Herrera out of Maryland, the Art of SMP. You can find him on Instagram. Hit him up if you're interested and taking any of his courses. And as always, stay in the pursuit of happiness. We will see you next time.